everyone. This is the Power to Change show with Robert Timmons. And today my guest is Rhonda Jennifer. Her goal is to share the message that all people are valuable, despite their past victimization, setbacks, and where they are in life. Speaking from a Christian's perspective with practical applications to succeed forward, with the purpose to provide people with the practical help for their emotional healing and growth for progressing their lives forward in a positive way for their own success. Rhonda is an author of a book series called More Crumbs, a speaker and a coach. Welcome to the show, Rhonda. How are you doing?
Hi, Robert. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am so honored to be here today. So thank you.
Where are you? Where do you live in?
I live in New Jersey in the United States. Yes. So we're just coming out of, quarantine and the pandemic.
Right.
So getting back to, some kind of normalcy, I don't know what that's going to mean.
How long it's going to be to get
Yes.
really back to where we were.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. It's very unique times, very unique, way things are. Some things are going back into the reverse.
Right. Exactly.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
The objective today, especially on every show that I do,
Yes.
is really to provide people, a way to think within to really create their world. Because
Yes.
with this pandemic and this COVID, which is,
Yes.
like we said, unique, but people are getting into a reversal of their own minds. They're not moving forward. They're too stuck into what the past was like and
Yes.
maybe the fun they had, and now they're not having it.
Yes.
So much depression can come from this.
And there was beyond the sicknesses and the unfortunateness, I feel like this was a time where God was having us reset our lives, and those that are stuck, that feel like they can't move forward, or they don't have the options or the available means. I feel like this is a great time to really say, you know what, I deserve something more. I deserve something better. But then they don't know where to start from. They don't know where to get that help or progress forward. So oftentimes we just give up, and we think that, we have to resolve to just stay where we are. But we don't have to. And I'm a testament of it, and it took me a while to get that. It took me a while on my journey, and I call everyone's life a personal, individual journey.
Oh,
and it took me a while, it took me a while to really awaken and have the courage to use the tools to progress forward and to succeed, and to know that I'm valuable and that I do have a purpose, and I want to share that purpose, with everyone.
Well, we're definitely going to share that purpose, because I
Yes.
really want to know it myself. Let's start with, let's go back a bit. And can you talk about the traumatic experiences that derailed your path and led you feeling insecure, unloved, unworthy, which I can see many people, resonating with that. I'm sure a lot of people, they're stuck on those words.
Yes.
They are insecure, but they don't realize it. They feel unloved, but they really are loved.
Right.
Those kind of things, people, they feel unworthy, but there's so much worth within them.
Yes.
Right. So if you can kind of just tell our listeners a little bit about that.
And then, just getting to the point today to be vulnerable and to really just tell my story took a lot. Because personally, I'm very, personable, I'm very private, and I'm introverted. So when I was 6 years old, I was molested, and on the way to school, I was bullied, and in school bullied. And then I never felt like I had someone trusted enough to share these experiences. And I also felt like it was my fault, or what did I do to elicit such behavior or actions towards me?
6 years old, you don't know how to express.
Yes.
So definitely you're thinking that you are just bad.
Yes. And I felt dirty. I felt shameful. I felt embarrassed. So I didn't tell anyone. And I kept that haunting with me into my adult years, because I never felt like, I was worthy enough to get the help or to feel vindicated or feel like someone could protect me or defend me because I must have done something to deserve this behavior. So that kind of thinking transcended throughout my life and throughout my years. And I was kind of attracting the same type of harmful people in my circle and in my environment, and never feeling like I was worthy to achieve more or go forward. I will look at others and, admire their success or admire, their family or their perception of happiness. And I would celebrate that. But I always went home feeling unworthy that it was ever for me, and that I don't deserve it because someone like me, how could I deserve anything good? So those traumatic experiences brought in other traumatic experiences. I was in abusive relationships. I would have, relationships that were abusive that would put you down and say that, you're not worthy enough, or, or you can't do this or you can't do that. And then I would experience friendships that way, and I think when you have that kind of mindset, you put yourselves in the position to expect that. Because when someone is kind or good to you, you reject it and you repel it because you want to self-sabotage it because that you're not worthy. You don't feel like you're worthy of it. So
That brings up like the nice guy syndrome.
Yes.
You think he's fake, you think he's not right, and you're
Yes.
like, he's not man enough.
No.
But yet he could be, something good.
Yes. Amazing.
That's funny to bring that. I understand your situation completely,
Yeah.
but you're really showing me that a lot of people think that direction.
Yes.
And they do, sway because sometimes those people that are abusers, they have that way to talk.
Yes.
They're nice and kind at the beginning.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden they become this Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, this monster. Right? Yeah. And that was my being very naive, and just always giving someone, the justification of maybe red flags I would see, and I would ignore it.
Right.
And I said, no, it's not what I'm perceiving, it will change, but it got worse. And I think, my self-worth and low self-worth was not there. So that gave an open door for all these negative experiences. And I always used those as safeguards because I felt safe in that. I felt safe if you badmouth me or told me I wasn't good enough or worthy. That was a safeguard because that's all I knew. But if you told me something positive, yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you told me something positive, I would shy away from that and like, no, you don't even really know me. You don't know the real me. So you got the wrong person. But I got to like a very low point in my life, and this gentleman, at this where I was living at the time, at this laundromat, and he came to me and he said, you know what, you're so much better than this. And those kind words, and it wasn't out of any ulterior motive or anything, awakened me. And it was just a strange awakening because I was like, you know what, I do deserve better. And I had to seek, the different tools to come out of it, because doing it on your own is very difficult, and most times you won't succeed. But when you get the community help, a good community, a healthy community, you do have greater success getting, coming out of it. So mine was seeking God. And initially, there was a Baptist minister that came to our school, and it was a middle school time. And he spoke so eloquently, and he talked about God in such a way, a loving, covering, like a authoritative way, that it kept all these middle schoolers quiet and just enamored by what he was saying. And he gave out little pocket Bibles, and I kept it for like into my adult years. But I read that thing, and it was just like I was so parched and thirsty to hear the truth and to see how the lives of their other people in the Bible, how they went through victimization, but yet they came out of it through God's love and his direction and his help. So I'm just so thankful for that. And then from there, God was leading me to practical applications, such as um, seeking, counsel, professional counsel, and uh, including that with God and the religious aspect. Also, just accepting that I needed to get out of certain environments. Not saying that, judging the other people, but getting into a positive environment and healthier people was so essential. And also practicing forgiveness.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I've
and
been doing that quite a bit, actually.
yeah, and to
Meditation.
forgive the victimizers.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a huge challenge because I was like, they don't deserve forgiveness, they
Mhm.
deserve the worst thing ever, and but then I did a practice, like a therapeutic practice that I made up where I wrote letters to my victimizers, but I didn't mail them out, but I wrote them. And initially in the beginning, it was anger. Why did you do this? How could you do this? On and on. And then as the letter was ending, I said, I forgive you. So I never mailed them out, but then it was helpful for me to kind of just confront the situation and know that I have the power back. I took the power back and they didn't have any control over me anymore. And I wasn't afraid.
Right. Those emotional feelings kept you caged
Yes,
with that,
yes,
yeah, those moments and those memories.
yes.
I was saying, meditation, I've added forgiveness in there. I do a 6 phase meditation.
Oh, good. I would love to know
There's
that.
compassion, gratitude,
Yes.
forgiveness, then your future up to about 3 years, just keeping your future and your goals in mind.
Oh, I like that.
Then it's, your day, plan out your day in your mind, and then blessing. You're asking, in my case, it's the universe. I ask, bless my day, bless my journey,
Yes,
bring me
yes,
opportunities, make it, filled with luck, whatever it is.
yes. Oh, I love that.
But you're right. I could see that being incredible. They talk about writing out, like get it out of your mind,
Yes,
right? Get it out of your mind, put it on paper, write it
yes.
out. In some cases, I've done to the point where you burn it.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I
Gone.
like
You
that
never
approach.
read it again. As soon as it's out, you don't read it again. You're
No.
you're putting it out with no judgment. You're putting
Mm-hmm.
it out just to get it out. And
Yes.
it's incredible releasing those that negative energy that you've stored in your body that
And you don't
could
even
transform
realize
into
it.
something else. It can make you
Yes.
sick. It can
Mm-hmm.
make you lean over. It can make you slouch. It can depress
Yes.
you. Yeah, it's very toxic.
And it creates the nightmares, like your sleeplessness, it interrupts your sleep. It also kind of limits you going after your goal. It limits because and always in the back of your mind you're thinking of that recording of what they said or did, or and you're not taking those steps of faith to go forward to the destiny that is designed for you, that is there for you. And I believe that our individual journey, we have such an abundance of treasure there for us. And it's only when we let go of these prisons and these bondages that have created in our world that we can't go beyond. We can't go beyond and grasp it and live it. And I had to do that because I was just kind of spiraling, and I was even like questioning, why am I here? What's the point of it all? Like no one would miss me, or, no one would, even care because I'm not worthy. So, just that little comment from that man
Mm.
just kind of awakened just like my life.
But it's almost like I've learned the spiral, as you state, is a great analogy.
Yes.
You think about what you think about what you think about.
Yes.
So if you're thinking these unworthy thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
you're spiraling down,
Yes.
right? And then that
Mm-hmm.
man inserted something into that spiral that made you think differently, and you started thinking more upward spiral. You
Yes.
started to pick yourself up. You started
Yeah.
to climb out of that hole that you didn't even know you were in
Yes.
until that man inserted that message.
Yes.
And that's what I really want the listeners to hear, because that changed you. That was like a major pivotal moment in your life.
It was.
Absolutely.
And you don't realize the negative environment you're in until you get that reawakening, because you feel that's the norm. You know, the environment that you're in, you feel like that's the norm. But when you have life spoken into you, you crave for more of it. So then you go after it and you find ways to seek it out. And then you will get a pull from your current environment,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know, kind of shaming you for wanting to grow, shaming you for wanting more. But you have to work on resisting it. And then what I also found was affirmations. And at first I was starting with Bible positive affirmations. And then, I would find personal, practical affirmations that, I am worthy, I am important, I am smart, I am valuable, and I can add value. I am lovely, I am loving, and I'm capable. And just saying those every day starts to change your whole mindset and attitude. And
Right.
it dispels the fear as well.
There was something that I remember doing. There was a time where I couldn't even look in the mirror at
Yeah.
my eyes, like
Oh,
really look at your eyes.
yes.
I had to turn away all the time. But now
Yes.
I can look in the mirror and say, I love you.
Oh, yeah.
And all you feel is the tingles
Yes.
going through your body because it resonates with it.
Yes.
You got so much energy now. But I do recall, there was times in my life where I guess in a way I was ashamed of what I was doing, the
Yeah.
actions that I was, being involved with, maybe the people
Yes.
I was around. But I totally agree with you. When you try and step out of that box
Mhm.
as me as an artist, stepping out of the
Yeah.
box is a normal everyday thing.
Yes.
But when it comes to inside you, stepping out of that box, you don't realize you're in a box.
No.
And that box is filled with those people that you surround yourself with. It's
Yes.
filled with the readings that you do,
Yes.
whatever that the TV shows you watch, whatever
Mhm.
it is, you
Mhm.
know. And then you try and change that just by an
Yes.
action. It's like a magnet,
It is.
and
And
that is where your growth is.
it
As soon as you
is.
step out, you take that foot, you step out of that box.
Mhm.
That's when you start growing and you start
Yes.
learning, and you learn first off that your surroundings were wrong.
Right. Because
Exactly.
yeah, because when you're moving forward, you're moving out of the chaos, you're moving out of the instability, you're moving out of all the disgruntledness. And then when you're moving forward, you're experiencing a peace. You're experiencing good opportunities and stability. So it feels really uncomfortable at first. So you feel like you're in the wrong kind of space, but you're actually where you're supposed to be. We should have a life of stability and a life of peace without drama and without, arguments and fighting, and then when we get to that space, we have to trust. And I say, I trust God to give me the faith to stay where I am in that peace, and to give me the faith to make that one more step forward. Because when we take these incremental steps instead of looking at the whole big picture, we grow faster. We grow faster without us even knowing it.
Right.
And it also takes like disciplines, practical disciplines,
Mhm.
that we have to learn about ourselves. We have to learn our emotions. We have to learn what we like and what we don't like. We have to learn our personality, because all this time people are telling us who we are and what we like and what we shouldn't like. So when we're growing and healing, we have to learn so much. It's just it's an exciting journey, actually, because we're getting to know ourselves. And
Mhm.
like you said, looking in your eyes and saying that you love yourself, that's huge, because the eyes are the entrance to the soul, and that brings in just life, and it breathes in like just humanity and self-worth and growth. So I use practical steps in the morning, you know, similar to like your meditation. I try to wake up earlier in the morning just to kind of like get myself centered before my day. And that took time because I would live a life and just go by the whim, you know, of everything.
Which
But,
is what
you know,
normal a lot of people do, right?
yes, yeah.
Hmm.
And then you just handle what, you know, is going on, and you never accomplish anything. But I found that when you wake up a little earlier, you know, it's a little difficult, and you wake up earlier and just spend, like, you could start with 15 or 30 minutes of quiet time, just reading and praying. You know, it kind of centers your mind and your soul to just be stronger and equipped to know, like, whatever is going to happen during the day, you can do it. And it also
That's
reaffirms that
success.
you have a purpose, and your purpose is going to be fulfilled, you know. And yeah, and then, you
How
know,
they
you
say,
find,
win your morning, win your day, right?
exactly, I like that one. And then I really don't, you know, like, it's hard to say and it might sound weird to say, but the negative experiences I experience, I appreciate them because I feel like
Yes.
they shaped me into a person where I'm more in tune and I'm more empathetic, and, you know, and I have a greater discernment of people and how to, you know, interact in life and know what I want and what I don't want. So I value those negative experiences, as weird as it may say, because
Well,
I,
I wanna blend on with that because
yes.
something that I've learned when you look back at those negative mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people look at and they feel those emotions.
Yes,
In this
yes,
case, you've already released those, which is
yes,
therapeutic and amazing in itself.
yes,
But something else that now you can move forward, as well as other people, they can reframe those negative experience into
mm,
learning
I like that.
experience. What did
Yes,
I pull from this that I can use or I can
yes,
use to help someone?
mm-hmm.
You know, kind of where you're going. You're speaking now. You're speaking these messages. So you're taking those experiences and you've reframed them to
Yes,
provide learning steps, educational kind of aspects of how someone who may be in that position,
mm-hmm.
that there are better ways
Yeah,
in life to live, and there are
yes,
better people out there that you will
yes,
find, because when you change your energy, you start attracting new things. Because you mentioned when I was in this, the way I felt unworthy, I was getting people that were keeping me in that box, in other
yes,
words, right? But until you stepped out, you didn't realize that there was different people that would keep you in a different box of
yes,
happiness
yes,
and worthiness and
yes,
love and in such a
exactly,
different way. So that's
exactly.
fabulous.
It is. And also, you know, we can't measure our ways of success against someone else's,
Right.
because our success is first even just being aware that we want something better. Our success can be having a full day of peace and go to sleep in peace and not have nightmares. You know, to me, that's a wealth of just so much more that we could do. And eventually we would reach our goals. Eventually, you know, I believe that we would reach our financial goals, our status goals, but we can't measure against, okay, well, look where that person is, and I have lost so much time, I'll never catch up, so I might as well just stay where I am. That's not any good excuse at all. You know, we have to look at our own individual journey and say, okay, take me the next step and let me succeed in that one, and then go for the next one and the next one. So you know, it gives you, like you said, how you practice gratitude, it gives you a sense of gratitude where you see the little aspects of your life, and you see that there's so much good fruit being birthed in your life, and there's so much love and beauty that you never had before, and it gives you a greater appreciation, you know.
Absolutely. If you think
Yes,
yourself as a light bulb, for example,
yes,
right? And that light bulb isn't turned on because you're too busy thinking either in the past or negative stuff in the future. You're worried, you're
yes,
fear, you're scared. But when you actually practice gratitude, which is
yes,
beautiful,
yes,
for if I can say so, that
yes,
when you actually, it allows you to open up your heart in the day, in the moment of what you have today.
Yes.
And when you can celebrate what you have today,
Mm-hmm.
you're attracting more of what you have today,
It's so
right?
true.
And
So true.
it's all about what you're vibrating. If you have low vibration, you're probably depressed, you're probably
Yes.
scared, you got a lot of fear. If you got high vibration, then you're happy, you're excited,
Yes.
you're enjoying, you're growing. And I just
And
brought
then
that
you
up as a
attract
light
that.
bulb, but
Yes.
your light bulb is shining.
Yes.
No, it's shining so bright that you're attracting that kind of person. You know, a lot of
Yes.
people, when I was younger, it was always, yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
You're always attracting the opposite of what you are, but you're not.
No.
What you're attracting, you need to look inside and go, okay, why am I attracting that?
Yes.
And then you can start answering questions. And I find that questions are huge. When you have the right question to yourself, you can really dig out an answer.
It is.
You're like, my goodness, am I really like that? Like sometimes, it is how you're thinking and how you're doing.
Yeah.
That you have to really question yourself. Okay, why? Why did I
Yes.
just attract that situation in my life, right?
And then there's also, and which I want to just disclose, is that you're going to still have the conflict of the old person with the new emerging person. So like you said, you're always going to have a conflict where you have to reflect and say, why did I think so negatively about that when it's not true? Or why did I feel jealous about this person when I should be celebrating them? What is it in me that is causing these conflicts? So as we're growing and healing, we're still going to have the conflicts with the old person, the old us as we're growing. But then that is great because we're recognizing what we don't want and what is wrong to what we're growing into when we want to be better and we want to serve better and we want to just, like you said, be that light bulb, So
a lot of people are looking at who I am right now, right?
Yes.
But it's not really who I am. That's the way of saying, your past choices got to you where you are today.
Yes.
What you want to think of is, who am I becoming?
Yes.
So where am I going? What books do I need to read? Who do I need to meet?
Yes.
They always say, if you admire someone, check out their footsteps and maybe follow a bit of it, because it will guide you somewhere. Maybe not where they are, but it's definitely going to bring you somewhere to where you may enjoy life better.
I agree.
Right? No matter what it is.
I agree. And we have to continually bless ourselves with learning and development, like constantly studying, like you said, and looking at, like the millionaires or the practices that successful people are doing, because they have, their blueprint for their path, but we can also like take little bits and pieces that can help us, that relate to us or where we want to go. And life isn't perfect. And even when we do emerge to our complete healing and fullness of ourselves, we're still going to face challenges, but we're at a greater space to be able to handle the challenges more successfully instead of letting the challenges handle us.
Well, it's exactly where you want to go. You can handle those challenges of that person.
Yes.
Because you haven't reached to that point.
Yes.
You haven't gone through those learning experiences to make it to that person you want to be in 10 years.
Yes.
Because that person in 10 years is a lot stronger because of the experiences up to that point.
Yes, I agree.
So there's no hack to life. There's no fast route.
No.
You need to challenge yourself in the direction that you want to go. You have control of that. You have control of the direction you want to go as soon as you realize you have control of that.
Right. And it's in that realization that takes back the power, and it breathes life into us and it brings purpose into us, because each of us have so much to offer. And that's the beauty of life. We all have differences and we all have different creativity and offerings, and until we stop putting people into these certain categories and judging them, that's like the bondage that we're so used to being in, like, oh, do we fit in this category, no, let us have, just a freedom to explore all areas of life. And what doesn't work, okay, you realize you know, that field isn't for you, or, you know, like, I'm really good in this area, you know, and then that brings such an awareness of, okay, this is what I like, and standing tall and knowing that truth about yourself, and no one can take that away from you.
Oh,
You
beautiful.
know?
So
Yeah, and that's
true.
what started my journey in with the No More Crumbs, because, you know, I was always lecturing my sister and my daughter, and, you know, and they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I said, well, maybe this can help, you know, other people, you know, even if it helps one person, I would be so happy, because I didn't have that. I didn't have that, you know, that guide or that toolkit, which I call it, to kind of help me come out of it quicker, you know. And I guess I needed to go through the valley of it, the roughness of it, to
Right.
become where I am today.
Which
Yeah.
made you stronger, absolutely. Which made
Yes.
you
Yeah.
stronger. Yeah, the beginning of the climb is always the toughest,
Yes.
but then it gets a little easier and you start getting more control of it.
Mm.
And you got to remember, you know, for the listeners, you know, things compound.
Yes.
So when you make a choice to change for, you know, for one step out of that, you know, on that rung of the ladder,
Yes.
it doesn't take long to start being able to do two steps at a time, because
No.
your decisions, everything that you're learning and reading and listening to, and people coming into your life,
Yes.
you're attracting that, and it's
Yes.
helping you build faster and faster. So yeah, it may be a week, it may be a month, it may be a year, but
Hmm.
it will compound to the point that you're gonna, you know, have so much amazing people in your life.
Oh, it's a it's
You
a
won't even
it's
want to even walk into the doors of the people that you used to hang out with and go,
yes,
oh my God,
exactly.
I can't feel this energy here. It's
No.
draining me. And you
And you
literally
feel that
feel that.
immediate warning signs immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you don't want to go back to the trauma. You don't want to go back to the traumatic way of living. And then it also takes courage to be honest with yourself, because, like you said, when you have that good guy or that good person come into your life, you have to remember that you're not going to self-sabotage it. You
Hmm.
know, that person is in your life for a purpose and a reason, and they're a gift. They're a gift to you. So how do you treat a gift? You treat it with tender care, and you treat it with respect and kindness in return, knowing that you deserve it, you know, and that leads to just other, like you said, other avenues and doors of greater opportunity and good people and just wealth of knowledge. I mean, it's just so vast.
And that's when you start loving life, because you realize you have
Yes,
control and you don't know where it's going to go. You may be
yes,
asking. They always say, be careful of what you ask for,
yes,
because
yes,
you are attracting what you say. You
exactly.
know, if you say bad things all the time, you're judging people all the time,
Hmm.
it's coming back on
It's
you,
going to come back. It
because
is.
you're really judging people from what is inside you.
Yeah,
It could be your jealousy, your grudges, it could be
yes,
anything. Those are definitely evil things, as I call. They're definitely negative vibrations you got to get
yes,
rid of. I used
yes.
to hold grudges when I was younger, and I
Woo.
realized that when I come into the situation, that all that energy would like flare up inside me. I'd be
Yes,
like, oh my God, this cannot be healthy, because I'm
no,
holding that energy in somewhere. And I felt it within a second. I'm
yes,
like, okay. So that's when I started working on, you know, apologizing to people, like
yes,
literally to their face. I would do it. And I
yes.
think I was about 19 when I had that transition, and
Wow, that's
life
amazing.
changed from
Yeah,
then. You know, life really, and I didn't
yeah,
realize I was doing that until I started learning in the last 5 years more deeper into the personal development area.
yeah. And
But let's
building.
move on. I really, you know,
Mhm.
I want to congratulate you on your 5-star reviews, as
Oh,
you,
thank
uh,
you.
you know, for your series called No More Crumbs, which you just mentioned, actually.
Yes,
You know, so let's talk about your first book. You know,
yes,
that's you've
yeah.
been
This
made
is.
for so much more,
Yes,
and explain to our listeners, you know, how you debunk the myth of, you know, that we are unworthy.
yeah. So the theme "No More Crumbs" came from the story in the Bible in Matthew chapter 17, where this woman felt so lowly and just so unworthy that she was willing to just take crumbs from the tables. You know, she didn't even feel worthy enough to sit at the table to have a meal. And Jesus recognized that, and he encouraged her to want more, and she accepted that invitation. And then he complimented her on her faith, moving forward. So that's where the No More Crumbs came from. So I have, this one is book one of the 4-part series, and it's basically depicting my journey coming from the traumatic experiences all the way through step by step what helped me to emerge.
Wow.
And like you said, a lot of it is before character building. Like you said, when you were 19, you would apologize. You know, with the spiritual and the practical, natural aspects really helped me to progress forward. And, I just give suggestions. I don't say, discount physicians or the medical or medicine that anyone's taking. It's just an additional helpful tool. And I found that first, it's in the admitting and forgiving yourself. Because, we hold ourselves in a state of hate and anger and resentment. And how could I let this happen to me? And forgiving God, being angry with him, and forgiving our victimizers.
Right.
So once we manage those aspects, then we have greater opportunities to be able to see and perceive what we could do next to progress forward. And healing journey and progressive journey is challenging. It's not fun. It challenges us. It challenges us to make decisions. It challenges us to turn away from what we feel comfortable in, like the familiar environment that we're talking about, the negative environment. And it encourages us to take chances of moving forward. So in this book, I start with my story that I shared earlier and how I was being cognizant of what I needed to do and change. And then I added some of the things that I shared as value messages, the things that the people that kind of were along my journey that added value to progress me forward. And so I just find this very helpful, and I just want it to be as a teaching tool and a study tool to keep like as a study, ongoing study guide, because in the back I have like questions and, answers.
Oh,
just
cool.
to use as a study tool, just to keep, with you, because you may go through something else and have to go back to remind yourself, that,
Great idea. It's an
yes.
absolutely great idea. Let's move on to your second book here, because like you said, there's 4, but I think you only got 2 done, right?
Yes, the 2 are done. And
right.
So this one is this is still under the No More Crumbs series, and it's moving forward with power and victory.
I love that.
So I want to just reassure people that we are going to move forward. We're not going to stay stuck. We're not going to stay stagnant, and we're going to move forward in power and victory. And we have that when we build a unique and positive community. And we need community. We can't do this on our own, and we shouldn't. And that was our old life. Our old life was filled with isolation and shame and darkness. Yeah. But when we're coming out of it, we should be full with community and people that love us and not just, toot our horn but really help us, like sharpen us and develop us and challenge us in a good way, in a positive way. So this is the same kind of a format, as a workbook, and giving you just kind of practical guidelines on how to move forward.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
So the question, with your experiences in life, what was the power you received to change everything and find your way to the stage? Like,
oh, yeah.
You've written your books.
Yes.
When you wrote your books, was it to get on stage, or was it just it's become that progress over time? I do feel that when I painted before that, I painted to the point where I thought, okay, we'll get the message out, and it was all online. And then I felt something inside that said, you got to go speak this. You need to go further. And I'm like, where do I go? Right. And then I was introduced to people, and then boom, life extremely changed from that.
Yes. And that for me, because I'm naturally shy, very shy and very introverted. So my initial was to get the books out, because as I said before, I was always lecturing my sister and my daughter, and I just felt like I needed to do more. And that took so much courage and just being vulnerable to tell my story and to share it on print and to distribute it to the world was very daunting for me. And I just feel like God was challenging me. And then he was challenging me to do more and to move into this space of speaker and coach. And the way God just leads you to people and just environment is so amazing, because I just kept praying like, Lord, I don't know how to do this. How am I going to do this? It's very overwhelming for me. And then my daughter was telling me like, Mom, you need to go out and do things. So she got me a Groupon for a Zumba class. And so I went, and the instructor was amazing, and we're still friends to this day. She's awesome. And then within that class, we started a walking group, and I met this woman who actually does, marketing and just helping to build a brand, help you build a brand, and help you to become like the leader in your field. And we just started talking and connecting, and I just prayed about it, and I called her one day and asked her if she would help me, and she readily did, and that's where I am today because of her. So I'm very thankful. So
Those are the tools that come into your life when you
it
need
is.
something, all of a sudden you're
Yes.
expecting.
And I take none of it to granted, because how it all worked, I couldn't have done it on my own. I couldn't have created that on my own.
What I'm realizing a lot, because I'm reading a lot of books of, successful people.
Yes.
Who are out there doing a lot of things. And like you said, I'm pulling things from there that resonate with me, and I'm implementing them into my life, because there's no need to read stuff if you're not going to at least take some action on things.
Yes.
That's where the change occurs.
Yes.
But I realize that you are the CEO of your own life.
Yeah.
Meaning you control
everything.
So when you take on business, like if you go to your job and they got you writing out this, you go here and you got to make sure these 4 things are checked every time.
Yes.
You got your weekly checks, you got your monthly checks. You need to do that in your life.
Yes.
And a lot of people go, oh, that's a lot of work. And
yes.
Absolutely it is. And I'm still working on that.
Right.
I'm building my next 12 months, on my calendar right now as we speak, to be honest with you. But it's exciting.
It is.
It's something that will become less challenging.
I believe it.
It will be more of a habit.
Yes.
It will be a drive that it's like I cannot go a day without meditating now in the morning.
Yes.
If I don't meditate, I feel
off. Feel it different. Yes.
Absolutely. So it's going to get to that point, a Sunday reflection. You're reflecting the week before, and you're focusing, planning the coming week.
Yes.
These are things that people need to do, because this is how businesses are run.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses are run to return on investment, for an example.
Yes.
You want a return on investment with your life.
Yes.
Right? And in order to do that, you need to track your data. You need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling good, what are you eating that day?
Right.
How's it changing your mood?
Yes.
What kind of emotions are you taking in that aren't serving you properly?
Exactly.
Right? How you have to learn to step outside and look at what's going on, instead of being inside your head all the time and being, driven by that inner voice.
Yeah. And that's what that's what I kind of mentioned in this book, Moving Forward, is that dealing with the practical issues of our life is so significant. So decluttering our homes, decluttering, our area, that makes a big difference. And sprucing up our area. It may not be what we want at the time, but taking care of what we have shows that we value ourselves, and getting proper nutrition or exercising and proper sleep. All of that contributes to our well-being and how we think of ourselves and how we, show up for the day and show up for someone else.
It's like raising your standards. You fight for your limitations.
Yes.
So if your limitations have been risen up high enough, you're going to fight to stay there. A lot of people talk about the thermostat. You're either going to be a thermometer or you're going to be a thermostat, meaning you're going to crank it up. You're going to bring yourself, say you're regular 70, you're going to bring yourself around people that are at 90. And you need to start bringing yourself up to 80 because of that. You've increased your thermometer, your what was I saying there? Your
temperature.
What's that?
Your thermometer and temperature.
Temperature. Yeah, you're raising
Yes.
yourself up
Yes.
to that. You're regulating it
Yes.
at a higher level because you're
Yes.
surrounding yourself by that type of person.
Yes.
You know, and these are little tools and things. And where do you learn these from? Well, you learn them from people like yourself.
Yes.
You learn them from, you know, going to these conferences with people that are
Yes.
speaking about that.
Yes.
You learn from books. Because
Mm-hmm.
people are writing about it. You know, if you
Yes.
read a book about a problem that you're having, someone solved it.
Yes.
Someone has solved it and gone through it. Like
Yes.
your books, people can get into those and they can really say, oh my God, she knows me.
Yes.
I'm there.
Yeah.
And they can start learning the tools of what took you out, and
Yes.
they'll start finding those tools within their own lives, within, you know, around them, within themselves. I talk a lot about within yourself because that's where the power is.
It is. And that's where it resonates, and that's where it haunts us. That's where we battle inside. Yeah.
We do. We battle inside.
Because that's our secret little compartment, you know, that's where we feel safe and safe from the world. So we get to, that's one thing we get to control, you know, that what we think and feel. So,
Absolutely. And
yeah, and
you
that's
only get
where,
stronger inside if you push yourself to get strong.
yes, yeah.
We push ourselves consistently. I just started this amazing thing with a few mentors that are, you know, they're like ultra runners and business people and stuff, and they got that grit. Right?
Yes.
And
yes.
I want that grit.
Right.
You know, I want that grit, right?
Exactly.
So that they're the ones helping me for the next 12 months. You know, everybody needs a coach.
Yes.
You know, they
exactly.
do. Even, you know, if you're a coach, but I'm sure you're looking for other people to guide
Yes.
you too.
Yeah, we
right?
all need it. Yes.
And
I'm thankful that in this stage I do have that. I do have that, you know, and even when I get my low moments, you know, or someone may say, "Oh, you sound a little cranky," or you know, why are you being so negative? That jogs me back to saying, "Oh, yes, I have to practice my gratitude," or
right.
what is going on that I'm reacting that way. So it does. You're continually growing, and you're continually checking yourself. You know.
Absolutely. And you got to realize you will have bad days.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
the less you're in that bad attitude or bad moment or bad emotion,
yes,
the stronger you're showing yourself you are
yes,
by getting yourself out quicker.
yes,
Like, you know, say you lost your job and then all of a sudden you didn't do anything for 3 months.
right, exactly.
Well, now you got to realize the next day you should have been out doing whatever you wanted to do, you know, get things
Yes.
moving. You know,
Yes.
that's gone, move on. You should be looking
Make
forward
plans
all the time.
and yes, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh,
So
Robert, thank you.
what 3 tips could you give our listeners today that they could take immediate action with, and you know, and give them the power to change their lives?
Yes. So first is just knowing, and I say that directly to everyone, knowing that you are important and you are valuable. And in that first inclination of knowing is the first step. The second is forgiving, and that's challenging, and it may be off the table, for discussion, but you really have to forgive yourself, forgive God, and forgive your victimizers. That's powerful. And then the next is trust your steps forward in faith.
Trust in the process.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Know, forgive, and trust.
Yes.
Three amazing words. I asked for 3 tips. I didn't realize that they're going to be 3 powerful words.
Well, thank you.
So it's almost like anybody could, you know, really remember. You remember those 3 words, then you're
Yes.
definitely going to remember this conversation. You're going to remember how to utilize those in every situation.
Yes.
You know, know where you are and what you're doing.
Yes.
You know, forgive if anything's happening, you know, to
Yeah.
move you forward, and then, you know, trust in the situation. You know, always trust in the process, because the process is unknown, and it's how
Exactly.
you push yourself in that day of gratitude.
Yes.
You know, when you're centered, where your feet are standing, as they say,
Yes.
be there and push. All your actions today will make tomorrow amazing, even
Exactly.
more so.
And you deserve it. You deserve it. You're worth
Absolutely.
it. Yes.
Absolutely. So where can people find you to connect with? Where's a great spot for that?
Yeah. Most of my information is housed on my website, which is www.rj and no more crumbs, all one word, rjnommorecrumbs.com.
Okay.
And also on my blog, I have a tab under helps. So if you need help to find a counselor or for prayer or any other kind of addictions you may have, I have a whole listing of information there for you. But on the website, I have videos and teachings and other aspects of what this growth journey entails.
Excellent. Excellent. I appreciate that. Well, Rhonda, I want to thank you for sharing your stories and
Thank you,
phenomenal
Robert. Thank
life
you. It was an
experiences.
honor. It was an honor.
Yeah, those life experiences today to give our listeners, your perspective on how they can empower themselves and have the power to change their life as well.
Yes.
My name is Robert Timmons. Please subscribe to our show and share the powerful messages that Rhonda gave us today so more people can move their lives forward. I want to thank you, Rhonda, for being here today. And looking forward to your future successes.
Yes. Talk to you soon. Thank you, Robert.